Starting a clinic is so exciting, but if you're not careful, you could end up spending thousands of pounds on things you just don't need. Trust me, I have been there. In this video, I'm going to break down the 5 mistakes I made as an aesthetic practitioner and what you can do to avoid those mistakes. Grab a notebook because you're going to want to write this down. Lesson 1 is course overload. Stop gaining knowledge and not actioning it. Courses are essential for growing your skills. But here's the reality, if you don't have patience to apply those skills to, your investment goes to waste. I made this mistake really early on, spending thousands of pounds on advanced training that I couldn't put into use because I had no patience. So how can you avoid course overload? Well, tip number 1 is that patient communication skills always come first. Before spending money on all of this training, focus on how you can communicate your value to patients. Most people don't know what microneedling is or what dermal filler is. What they do know is that they want to feel better in terms of their skin, in terms of aging, in terms of sagging, and they want you to be able to communicate how you can help them. You need to show your patients why you're valuable and make them understand how the treatments you provide can make a difference to their life. Instead of saying dermal filler is going to smooth your nasolabial folds, why not say, filler I'm going to use is going to restore volume loss and it's going to give you a youthful appearance after just 1 session. After we finish with the treatment, I would have addressed your issues that you explained to me in the beginning. You said that you're not happy with your smile lines, you feel like your face is sagging, and you just don't feel overly confident or happy when you look in the mirror. Well, after having this treatment, I'm hoping all of that will change for you. A great tip is to practice explaining treatments to your friends and family until they get it. If they get it, so will your patients. Don't try to explain these treatments to doctors or dentists that you know, because we already know what we're talking about. Number 2 on how to avoid course overload is mastering your basic skills first. Trying to learn everything at once, tear trough, jawline, profile balancing, hair rejuvenation, skin rejuvenation, hand rejuvenation, just take it easy. Get your basic skills first, because patients are drawn to practitioners that excel at specific treatments, not those who dabble in a bit of everything and just end up being quite mediocre at everything they do. Hone 1 or 2 areas of expertise and market yourself as a specialist in that area. For example, it's better to be great at skincare or lips than be average at everything. So take beginner courses first and build on those skills as patient demand grows. And tip number 3 on how to avoid course overload is just-in-time learning. Don't rush into advanced courses without actually knowing whether your patients even want those treatments. Why don't you take courses based on the treatment needs of your current clients? For example, most people are aware of anti-wrinkle treatments or Botox, and they do come searching for it. Align your training with the treatments your patients are actually requesting. I'll give you a simple example on how I suffered from course overload. I went to loads and loads of courses because I thought that by knowing everything, I will attract all the patients. And by overloading myself on courses, I wasn't really attracting new patients. I was just full of all this knowledge and nowhere to put it. So I always say this to newbies. I always say go on a few courses, line up some patients that are happy to have treatment with you, and just go from there. When you do those courses and when you do the treatment on the patients, you will actually be so surprised on what you thought you wanted to go on next or what you thought you wanted to learn next and what you actually end up wanting to do. Lesson number 2 that I learned from starting a business is misguided Facebook marketing is money down the drain. Facebook and Instagram ads are a great tool, but without the right strategy, they're just a waste of money. I've spent hundreds on ads that didn't bring in a single client. Point number 1, if you do want to spend money on Facebook marketing, is you need to define your ideal patient first. Before you create an ad, ask yourself, who are you trying to attract? What is their age, gender, lifestyle, and their primary concern? If you don't define your ideal patient, your ad is going to market to everyone. So 65-year-old Bob down the road is going to see an ad for lip filler, and obviously that's a lost cause. And I did this exercise. I found that my ideal client is a middle-aged woman, a professional, somebody that values their health and is worried about signs of aging, such as fine lines and wrinkles, volume loss, but also cares about their skin as well. I know there are people out there that are like that. I've met them, they are patients of mine, and I want to attract more people just like that because they're going to listen to me. They align with my values. They're not trying to go for a Love Island look, and they're just trying to keep themselves healthy, looking fresh, looking youthful, and that's exactly what I love doing for people. So here's a tip if you want to use Facebook marketing. Use Facebook's targeting tools to refine your audience, like location, age, gender, interests, and hopefully that will help you target the right people. Point number 2 on how to avoid spending money on Facebook ads is create content that speaks to people. Think about what would grab your ideal patient's attention. Is it before and after photos? Is it patient testimonial? Is it educational videos? Is it you speaking about how you do a procedure? Create content that will solve your patient's problems. It's really important, as I said, firstly to identify who you're marketing to and then put yourself in their shoes. So I'm not a middle-aged woman yet, and I'm not worried about sagging or fine lines and wrinkles yet. So why not ask middle-aged women that are worried about this stuff and ask them, do you go on Facebook? Do you use Instagram? Do you use TikTok? And what do you actually look for? What type of videos or what type of images do you look for when you're searching up something like facial aesthetics? You'll be so surprised. Don't assume that your patients are searching terms like full face rejuvenation. That's a very technical term. After speaking to patients, I've learned that they're searching up very common terms like sagging or jowls or how to prevent wrinkles, stuff like that. So if you are going to use Facebook marketing, remember, make content that's actually going to speak to your audience. And point number 3 on how to avoid wasting money on Facebook marketing is test small budgets first. So you found your ideal audience, you've created content that is going to speak to them, and now you want to put it out there. Why not test it with a really small budget? Make the location quite close to where you work and see what happens. Rather than spending hundreds of pounds, which is what people did urge me to do, just doesn't work like that. Your money just gets lost in this whole meta universe. I would say spend a little bit of money just to boost your post in your area, and if it's the right post and you have refined your audience, people will find you. If one ad gets more clicks than another, then you know that that ad's working, you did something right there. Optimize it. Monitor your engagement rate, monitor your cost per click, but don't get overwhelmed in all of this. I would say when you're starting out, don't even worry about Facebook marketing just yet. Build your brand, build your identity, go for organic engagement, organic content. You don't need to spend hundreds of pounds marketing things if you don't know how to even speak to your audience. That goes back to my first point, being genuine, knowing how to communicate your skills and your value to your patients, which are your ideal client that you're trying to market to. That should be enough. And it took me a long time to learn that. Lesson number 3 I learned is marketing agencies will definitely take advantage of you, especially if you tell them that you are a professional, you're a doctor, you're a dentist, and you don't know how SEO works. Marketing agencies can be tempting when you're just starting out. They will promise that you will get 50 new phone calls in the first hour that you start working with them, and they will promise the stars and the moon. They aren't worth the cost, not in the beginning. Here's a few things to watch out for. Point number 1 to avoid overpriced SEO and marketing agencies is learn the basics yourself. Just understanding basic SEO terms like keywords or Google My Business can save you thousands of pounds. I'm not saying you have to do everything yourself. It's great to outsource, but I'm speaking from experience. Marketing agencies will use technical words to make you think that they're going to be doing something incredibly difficult, when it ends up just being the fact that they're going to update your Google profile once a week and charge you about £500 a month for it. Ranking on Google might sound complicated, but just starting with the basics like optimizing your business profile, posting blogs or update on your website or Google profile, and asking patients for good reviews, sometimes that's enough to make a start. Use YouTube, use ChatGPT, use Google just to find out what you need to do to get started to learn SEO basics. Then you can absolutely speak to somebody with a bit more experience. Number 2 on how to avoid wasting money on SEO and marketing services is just be careful of over-promising agencies. As I said before, they know that you're a professional, they know that you have a bit of money and you're starting a business, they know that you need their help, and they know that you don't know what this jargon means. Some companies will promise you hundreds of patients, but most of the time they are over-exaggerating. You need to ask for specific examples of their work, every specific task they are going to do to help you. If it sounds wishy-washy, it means they have no intention to provide you with the services that they promised. For example, one agency charged me £300 a month for very vague services that didn't bring in any patients, actually dropped the traffic to my website, and shut down my Google business profile for about a week. Like I said, I'm making this video to teach you guys to do what I didn't do. And point number 3 on how to avoid overspending on SEO and marketing agencies is outsource small tasks affordably. I get it, we've got stuff to do. We don't want to learn about SEO and marketing. Why not do this? If you need help, consider hiring freelancers for specific tasks, like writing a blog or helping you set up your Google My Business profile or editing your videos or posting on your social media. It's often cheaper and it's much more effective because you know exactly what you're getting for what you're paying. You can use platforms like Fiverr or Upwork to help you with that. Okay, lesson number 4 I learned is do not overstock. It's easy to get carried away after your first course, but buying too much stock can cost you big time. Here's how to avoid throwing away money. Number 1 on how to avoid overstocking is don't buy bulk until you know that people want to purchase it from you. You need to have patients booked in that have paid a deposit, that are going to be turning up to the appointment before you start ordering all the stuff for their treatment. Stockpiling leads to wasted money if the demand isn't there. Of course, in an established clinic where the patient booking rate is high, you're going to need to have some stock. But I would really avoid over ordering things just because you think there's going to be lines of people waiting outside to have treatment with you. That leads me on to point number 2, because these things that you're ordering, they have expiry dates. If you are going to order stock, always check the shelf life. If you can't use it before it expires, it's obviously going to be a loss. I'll give you an example that's very close to my heart. So I started with doing mistake number 1, which was going on too many courses. On the first course I went on, somebody encouraged me to buy stock from them. And I was on this course, I was pumped, I was so excited to get started that I ended up spending £500 extra to buy filler and a few other bits that were very close to expiring, and that's why this person was selling them, because I thought, I've just done this course, I'm gonna have so many people that want this treatment. Is this even enough? And I think I bought about 6 boxes of filler. I ended up using 1 or 2 and the rest of it expired. If you've ever seen Instagram videos of people pouring out filler into a spoon to show you how much there is in a syringe or what the consistency of filler is, then it's because they probably made the same mistake as me and over-ordered. And so yeah, big lesson, learn from me. And point number 3 on how to avoid overstocking, don't fall for supplier sales tactics. Look, I'm Asian. My mom has always taught me to look for a bargain. And I am such a sucker for buy 1 get 1 free or buy 10 get 5 free. And I just love to purchase it and see that savings that I made. I love it. But suppliers are using these tactics for a reason. They don't care if you don't have patience. Don't let them pressure you into buying in bulk just because you're going to get a discount. Always prioritize what your clinic actually needs over the discount. Ask for smaller quantities, ask for samples when you're just starting out. Stop buying loads of stuff. Lesson number 5 that I learned from starting my business is don't buy expensive equipment in the beginning. It's tempting to buy the latest equipment, but without patient demand, it's a bad investment. Here's how to avoid this trap. Point number 1 on how to avoid buying expensive equipment is survey your patients first. Before investing, ask your patients, is this something that they would be interested in? Get people to sign up, get people to put a deposit down, get people to show their genuine interest that if you buy this machine, they will be coming to you to have treatment. Keep it simple when you're starting out. Don't assume people will want treatments just because you want them or just because you want to have them as part of your clinic. You need to ask the people you actually treat. Point number 2 on how to avoid investing in expensive equipment is calculate your ROI, your return on investment. Work out how many treatments you'd actually need to do to break even. If it's not realistic, don't buy it. If you have a £10,000 machine and each treatment costs £1,000, you're going to need 10 people to sign up for the treatment. Have you got 10 people? If you're going to buy a £10,000 machine and each treatment costs £100, you're going to need 100 people to sign up for the treatment. Do you have 100 people that are interested in it? Do you even have 50 people that are interested in it? Avoid listening to people that are selling the machines, because they're going to tell you that once you get this machine, people are going to be chasing you down the street to get treatment from you. They're going to be knocking on your door at midnight asking you if they can have this treatment. Like I've implied in the whole of this video, I'm a sucker for a sales pitch, and I have made that mistake. I didn't calculate the return on investment. I just thought it's going to bring a return. Of course it is. And it didn't. Also, don't forget to include the insurance, the maintenance costs, the extra products that you have to buy as part of purchasing this machine. This is how you get into this cycle with certain companies. They will want to sell you a machine. They will fail to include things like, oh yeah, by the way, it's £1,000 extra for insurance, and every few weeks you're going to need to buy more products from us. And it's a great business model for them, but it is going to bleed you dry. So avoid it if you're just a beginner. And that leads me on to point number 3 on how to avoid overspending on expensive machines is, why not try with rentals? Why not contact businesses telling them you're a new startup, you've just opened up your clinic and you'd like to try their machines out? Will they rent it to you? Will they let you use it for free? Will a neighboring clinic offer to share their equipment with you, just so you can see whether your patients like it, whether you like it, and whether you're willing to invest that money into a machine long term? Test patients' interest, trial different treatments. Don't get stuck into an investment that you didn't really need from the beginning. And that's it, guys. That's the 5 big mistakes I made when starting out my clinic. And I'm very happy to be able to share this with you guys. I made this mistake. I was young, I was excited, I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I was sold dreams. But it's okay, because I have learned so much from it. And I'm so excited that I'm able to share my mistakes with you guys so that you don't make the same ones. If anyone has any other mistakes they would have made when they opened up a clinic, please comment below. And if you have any questions or need any more help, then I'm happy to help you with. Watch this video if you want to know how to get started in facial aesthetics and what are the right things you should be doing. And I'll see you in the next one.